So, good morning, everybody. We are here. We're excited to be here. I'm excited to be here with you guys today. Woohoo! And today, I want to call the title of this Sweet Baby Jesus. Because it's that feeling of what I want us to talk about today is when a client says something about sex that has so hindered their progress, their enjoyment, their understanding of sex, that it's just like, oh, you poor baby, sweet baby Jesus. Like, okay. And so, what are those things? And I'd love if we could come up with 10 of them, but we also might want to talk about them a little bit when we do. So, however many we get, I would love. All right. So, who wants to go first?
I'm fine to start.
Okay. Go, Jessica.
My first thought is any sentence about sex that has the word supposed to in it. No,
Yeah.
nothing's supposed to be anything. Like, it's
Right.
all going to be different. It's all going to be based on the person and the people who are involved in sex. So,
Yeah.
like, you're not supposed to come at the same time. You're not supposed to have
Ooh.
penetration. Like, all of those supposed, like, we're supposed to have sex twice a week. We're supposed to have sex X amount of times. No, you're not. There's
Yeah.
Says who?
Right.
Like,
Where'd you get that from? And who's making up these rules? Can you tell me?
stop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot
Oh,
of any of that supposed to. Like, no. Like, try
yeah.
again. Mm-mm.
Got it. Okay, that was a good one. All right, Mary Hannah, for you.
Yeah. Well, I feel like even in the supposed tos, there's so many that you could delve into. Like, I'm supposed to
Right.
come in, I'm supposed to come in a certain amount of time, like
Yeah.
that is a huge one that I end up asking my clients, like, so where did you get that number? And they're like, I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea where that number came from, actually. It's like, okay,
Right.
well, it's actually being a huge barrier right now. Um, I feel like another one is
Yeah.
that uh, like sex and orgasming about
hmm
like my partner's pleasure validates my manhood or womanhood.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah,
That's a
that's a
tough
big
really
one.
one.
big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
it's like if I don't do this, if my partner doesn't
Yeah.
do XYZ, if I don't do XYZ, I'm not
Yeah.
a man, I'm not a
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
And completely takes away the whole point of
Right.
sex, which is connection with your partner.
Mhm.
And the thing on that one, because that's one where it seems like opposites attract. So the one person that like is so dependent on this happens to get to the one person who has had an orgasmic disorder or
Mm,
sensitivity to touch. And it's just like, oh, sweet
Mhm.
baby Jesus, I see how this is all gonna ride. So
mhm.
let's see. Jessica, you alluded to one and then I forgot it because I got so excited about Mary Hannah's. Um,
Climaxing at the same time is probably a big one.
that was it. It
Yeah.
was climaxing at the same time. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
only in romance novels.
yeah, and on TV. It's not a thing, people. It's not a thing, not a thing. And so when clients are saying that, is and they've been trying for years. Oh, okay, maybe let's stop at some point. And I think that the thing also that goes with that one for females and males in particularly, she's supposed to come with intercourse. Like
Mm.
Mm,
orgasms are supposed to happen with intercourse
mhm.
because that's the way it happens on TV. That's the way it happens in novels. That's the
Okay.
way, like, so that one is just like,
So I
oh
just need
no.
everyone to know
Uh-huh.
there are no nerve endings in the vaginal canal.
Thank you for
There,
educating.
there are no
Please.
nerve endings.
hmm
So when we're talking about penetration, what a woman feels typically is pressure. And
hmm
it's if if you were well, and I can't even do it with my hands because your hands have nerve endings. The vaginal canal does not. And
Right?
so like even trying to give an idea of what that looks like is hard to replicate because most of the outside of your body has nerve endings. Most of the
Yeah.
inside of your body does not. So
Right.
surgery, when they're looking at surgery, they put you to sleep one so that you don't move around, and two, because the only pain that's happening is when they're cutting into that first layer of tissue. Like that's where the nerve endings are.
Yes.
And the rest of it, like your stomach doesn't have nerve endings, your liver doesn't have nerve endings. Those, someone can hold it in their hand outside of your body and you're not going to feel anything other
Wow.
than weirded out because you're
You,
seeing
yeah.
somebody hold your liver. But like that's the way it is with the
Right.
vaginal canal. And it makes sense if you think about how women give birth. Birth is already such a traumatic, transformative experience for a woman's body that if
Uh-huh.
we added nerve endings on the virginal or the vaginal canal, the
Mm-hmm.
population would cease to exist because no one would want to do it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
absolutely not.
You did such a brilliant job explaining that. Like, I'm gonna start using that because I hadn't talked about like the whole internal organs. And so I usually just go to kind of, because if we had nerve endings, none of us as females would make it through childbirth. Like it's already a near-death experience.
Mm-hmm.
It is already extremely painful. And so
Mm.
if we just add any nerve endings in there, we wouldn't make it. And it's so funny because when I say that, women like, oh yeah. And so sometimes I'll go to the like think about a tooth. When you have like nerves in your tooth and you have, because most people have had a bad toothache and they understand that that nerve ending is it's a thing, especially when it travels around your face. Like, oh, and so think about if we had those nerve endings in our vaginal canal. Okay, that was really great. All right, Mary Hannah, do you have another one?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say porn is entertainment, porn is a performance, porn is not reality, it's not a reflection of reality, and is
Mm-hmm.
not a sex education. It is not a
Mm-hmm.
basis that you can use for any
Mm-hmm.
of your expectations for sex.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Okay, Jessica, you raised your hand, so I'm gonna let you go first, and then oh my God, I'm gonna jump all over that.
So I have a counterpoint to that because I do think that there are some instances where porn can be educational, especially
Right.
if we are individuals and trying to figure out things that we might be excited by,
Mm,
to be done to us, to be interested in actions that are being done, especially in like lesbian relationships or figuring out your sexual identity.
mm,
Viewing some types of porn may be helpful to like, would I like that? I don't know. Like if I don't have
mm-hmm,
exposure to what's out there, I don't know what I don't know.
mm-hmm,
And so porn can be helpful. Again, keeping in Mary Hannah's, this is not reality. This is not real life. This
mm-hmm.
is just used as these are some types of sex acts that can be performed,
Yeah,
which will look wildly different in
yeah.
reality. But to give it an idea of maybe I want to watch porn that includes some BDSM to get an idea of like what would this look like? Is this a
Mm-hmm,
way that I would want to express myself to kind of explore? I've read some research on how women, especially in other countries or especially in areas that are extremely I'm trying to use the right PC word, um sex negative. Um
oh, good job.
we're not instructed on how to give blowjobs. We're not instructed on
Mm-hmm,
how to perform cunnilingus. We're not
yeah.
instructed on how to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't necessarily want to go to your parents or your older brother and you friends. Oh,
Right.
that's terrible. So like figuring out how to understand how to do
Yeah,
some of these things or what does this look like or again, it's not real, but it can be
yeah.
instructed in some ways. So like counterpoint.
Yeah. So I think what both of you guys are alluding to, because Mary Hannah, I know those clients, and Jessica, I know those clients. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think essentially the thing is when a client has black and white absolute, like porn is absolutely terribly negative, bad, and you can't learn anything from it. Yeah, you can. Or like it's so positive, it is reality, and this is exactly how it. No, 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 don't go there. And so if you can stay in the middle
Mm-hmm.
and hold it loosely,
Mm-hmm.
because you guys are right. Either way you line up on that when you're absolutely black and white, that it has to be this way or this is the reality or what. Yeah, it causes me to be like, oh, poor baby Jesus.
And there is such thing as ethical porn too.
Mm-hmm.
Like porn is not
Oh,
like all porn
say
is not
that.
unethical. Like there are there's porn out there that like actually pays its actors well, and
Mm,
like because it also requires money to access, that's how it's able to do these things and have people on set that keep their actors safe and
mm-hmm,
consenting,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and that can be a really great thing for couples to experience and watch together too.
Yeah.
Another point to that, there's a lot of porn that is only viewed as from the male gaze. And
Yeah.
so
Mm,
oftentimes when we look at porn that includes people of the same gender,
mm-hmm,
that can feel less specifically for heteronormative males, which
mm-hmm,
feels a lot more performing and a lot more focused on the men's pleasure.
mm-hmm.
But I've had male clients tell me that like all I watch male gay porn, and I was like, there are two penises in gay porn. You have a penis, so like
Yeah.
standing in for the person who is pleasured is easier when there are more of you. So like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gay if you watch gay porn. It's there's more genitals that you own
Yeah.
that are being pleasured and handled, and so
Yeah.
being able to put yourself into that perspective is easier.
Definitely so. Definitely so. Okay. That's really good. All right. What else is coming up? What else? What other statements that's just been like, this is like scared you on the inside? Like, oh God, we got to fix that now.
Anything where like, again, this is kind of going back to the supposed to, but like they should just know.
Oh,
They should
yes.
know from my body. Like if you do not articulate it, if this is not
Yeah.
coming out of your mouth,
Mm-hmm.
they are not going to know.
Mm-hmm. So then my question is, okay, but where did they learn? Where do you think they learned that from? What,
Previous relationships,
right?
television. Like
Okay.
you never have a conversation about sex on television.
Right? Like,
Mm.
ah, that's good. That's a good one. Ah.
Porn, you don't have conversations about sex. And that's the part where they miss in porn of like,
Mm-hmm.
are we talking about STDs or STIs? Are we talking
Mm-hmm.
about previous partnerships? Are we talking about
Mm-hmm.
things that you like and don't like? There's
Mm-hmm.
not any awkward moments or funny
Mm-hmm.
moments, which is
Mm-hmm.
very common in normal people sex.
Very common. All right. My next one that I want to, that I hear that it's just like, oh, um, I've gained weight, and so my partner can't possibly find me attractive anymore.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah, I don't try to have sex with them anymore, and I don't let them have sex with me. You don't let them have sex with you because you think they're not attracted to you. But if they're trying to have sex with you, maybe they were attracted to you. And so and it hurts my heart because then we'll get in a conversation of, so you're saying because your body is now less than according to your definition,
Mhm.
that it no longer is worthy of pleasure, worthy of connection, worthy of feeling good, um, worthy of sharing an intimate experience with another person. Okay, tell me more about that, because in relationships, no, in life, unless you're like that 10% that is the same size when you left high school, most of us have weight fluctuations up and down, up and down. And attraction, like there are definitely some hot bodies out there that we are all attracted to. But most people that operate in real life have an attraction pattern that is across multiple body types,
Mhm.
because it's so much more than body type that can attract you, you
Mhm.
know, swagger, grace, style, presence, authenticity. Like all of these things can be attractive, power, humility. And
Mhm.
so just can we just say that maybe it's not all about like your physical attraction that made you attractive,
And
and
I would
that
Mm-hmm.
you're
say that
not
there's,
less attractive just
yeah.
because you gain 5 pounds, 10 pounds, or even 20 pounds. Yeah.
And
Mm.
I would even
Mm-hmm.
argue that like I have had friends that were very skinny who've had sex together and they're like the bones, the amount of bruises, there's not padding. If you have very skinny people
Right.
having sex together,
Mm-hmm.
there can be more
Mm-hmm.
bumping into
Mm-hmm.
things just because
Mm-hmm.
there's not as much
Mm-hmm.
padding. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that can be
Yeah.
undesirable. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure there are people who have felt like I'm so skinny, I've been rejected because I'm skinny.
Yes, there are. There are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Definitely so. And I specifically have had husbands, and I can think of three right now, just off the top of my head, who were like, "Yeah, I don't like that she lost weight. Like her breast got smaller, and I the bigger breast made me happier. They're a little bit more fun for me to play with." One particular guy was like, "It fit perfectly in my palm." And and so just kind of be aware of that because we all, men and women, there are men who have body issues too. We all can start beating
Mm.
ourselves up and not paying attention to what our partner wants, needs,
Mm-hmm.
desires, and everything. And I think if you go to line down the line and ask 10 people, would you rather have a partner who's gained weight but is willing to have great sex with you versus a partner that
Mm,
looks perfect but you can't have sex with them? Who would they choose? Yeah. And most
mm-hmm.
like I want the person who's going to be real with me, who's going to be authentic with me, who's going to, understand that we're human beings. And that our weight fluctuates. Okay. All right. What else? What other ones? What other statements out there?
So kind of in
Yeah.
tangent. Oh, go ahead, Mary Hannah.
I was gonna say, if you plan sex, then it's not romantic. This
Mm.
idea
Oh.
that like it has to be spontaneous. If we plan it, then like somehow that makes us like the old
Mm-hmm.
married couple that has to plan
Mm-hmm.
sex.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved what you said a while ago, Natalie. That was the idea of like, but we did plan sex. Like whenever we
Mm-hmm.
had date nights when we were dating, or you would
Mm-hmm.
go to see your partner in a long distance relationship, you were totally planning on having sex that night. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was that assumption that that was going to happen. And I
Yeah.
always love that reframing of like, we set ourselves up and during dating in a romantic atmosphere to have physical connections also. Like we make time for it during our busy week. And that is something that has to keep going.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Jessica, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just kind of reflecting back on what you said, Natalie, about like I am gross, so I believe that there's something wrong with me. I think it's also really important if a partner says no, that is not automatically the reason why. So like
Mm.
figuring out, am I telling myself a story or am
Mm-hmm.
I trying to see, are they really stressed today? Do they feel inadequate?
Yeah.
Do they have things going on for them? Like a lot of the times we make up stories and they're automatically negative about ourselves, and
Yeah.
that's not typically the case.
Oh, that's an excellent one. I'm going to stay there a minute because so many times people do that. Well, they don't want to have sex with me. They don't like my blah 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 blah, or they don't want to have sex with me. They don't like me. Period.
Mhm.
Um, they don't like having sex with me, or they could just be coming out with the flu. Like,
Mm,
and so really making sure um that you guys are having that conversations, And I love, 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 love. And this came from Brene Brown. Um, when people can say, okay, the story in my head right now is that because of this, help me, help me, like help me believe a different story, or help me find the truth in this. Oh, well, the truth is, honest to God, I didn't understand what you were trying to do, right? Or something. And I think that's the other thing. I think, and that leads me to another one is making sure, and I've had this more, no, I've had this happen with males and females. I'm gonna say more females, of you're making a sexual request and your partner has no idea because you were just hinting and
Oh,
hinting
mm-hmm.
in a
yes.
very non-sexual way. Like,
Or it could
uh,
be in a very sexual way that's still established as not being sexual. So like I had a
yeah.
couple that were like, "Well, I walked around
Hmm.
naked more." And I'm like, "Okay, so you already walk around naked
Hmm.
and this was more and
Hmm.
your partner knew that they weren't supposed to when you just did it normally, but like they're
Hmm.
supposed to automatically know when you do it
Hmm.
5 or 10 minutes more."
More, right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like, and I got this one from my supervisor, but I have had it happen in my practice, but he was the first one who told me about it. That when people are like, I'm going upstairs now. All right, good night.
Mm,
Did not know that was an invitation for sex. Like, when did we sit down and come up with what the rule book was, what the codes were, the signals, and so how that has hurt so many people in general. And so please make sure that you're absolutely being clear and then verifying. with your partner that you are being clear.
Mhm.
That you
Mm.
are, because I have had some cases where one partner was being clear as a bell, black and white, wrote it on paper, and the other partner still thought they were joking.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
so like it's like,
Mm.
okay, do you understand? And like having that communication,
Yeah.
of being able to say, are you for real about this? Yeah, I'm for real about this.
Mm.
Or I don't think you understood that I was for real about that. Like that was
Yeah.
serious.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What
And I
else?
think
Mhm.
also encouraging, like, don't perform experience or experiments on your significant other. Like, I'm going to do this for 30 days and see if they notice.
Please don't do
They
that.
don't know what they're supposed to know. Like,
Right?
please don't change
Please don't do
something.
that.
Well, you don't like this is proof that you don't love me because I changed this for da 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 da.
Right?
Okay, there was never a conversation around it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, let me say this and out. Oh, Mary Hannah, you had one more.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say too, even just like two quick ones. Like one, this is for this is for the people that feel so much pressure, like they have to give up all of their needs for their partner's needs, which is
Mm-hmm.
the more that you do that, the less flexible you actually are. I've had
Mm-hmm.
so many clients that once they actually allowed themselves to focus and voice their needs, they
Mm-hmm.
suddenly become so much more open to actually being physically intimate with their partner, which then everyone's needs are getting met.
Right?
So don't feel like the more that you focus on the other person, the better it is,
Mm-hmm.
when actually like the more that you allow yourself to understand what you're feeling and what you need, then the better it's going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
And then the second one I would quickly add too is learning how to negotiate. If someone says, do you want to have sex, and you're like, no, and it's just that harsh no,
Yeah.
instead say, I'm really not feeling about that tonight, but let's take a shower together, or
Mm-hmm.
let's like cuddle together naked, or
Mm-hmm.
let's give each other massages. That negotiation makes such a huge difference. I've had clients say, like, oh, that harsh no used to be so awful and rejecting. And when my partner comes back with that negotiation, it really makes me feel like they do
Mm-hmm.
want to spend time with me. And I
Yeah.
still get so much out of that
Oh, that was so
interaction.
good. Oh my God, that was amazing. Okay, I'm gonna end on this one. The thought that I should never have to read a book about sex, or I should never have to go to sex therapy. I
Mm,
should never.
mm,
And so, even if you have a great sex life now, today, yay for you. Doesn't mean that's going to last forever. Most people have ebbs and flows in their life. Most people have things that have worked perfectly in their life, and then one day it didn't because something random changed. And that could be as random as a work schedule. You know, we both used to work 9 to 5. Now they're working 9 to 5, and I'm working but 12 to midnight. Like you just don't know. And so please always be open to growth and change and getting new information when something in your life isn't working. And it's
mm.
okay, because I don't want you feeling less than because, or thinking, well, everybody else has a great sex life. No, they don't. And I like to joke with my clients, and I'll say, I've made this into a full-time career, a full-time career. There are some days I work 9 in the morning to 9 at night because this is a full-time career, and I'm not the only one in the city. So if nothing else, that should tell you everybody's not having a great sex life except for you. Yeah.
Mm,
And oh, I think that needs to be the last one, that everybody else is having a great sex life except for me.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Just kind of stumbled on that one, but that's the thing. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Any last just words, comments, anything before I let you guys go?
I'm trying to not get on my soapbox about Georgia sex education. So I'm just,
Okay.
if you're curious about what people are taught in Georgia about sex, please look it up. It's
Right?
important to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I had a sex
Yeah.
education class, and the only thing I remember is learning about tampons.
Oh, well, that's more than a lot of people get. A lot of
That's
people
true.
get just abstinence based.
That's true.
Yeah,
All
you have
right.
no idea how many times I heard growing up, you have the rest of your life to figure it out. Figure what out?
Oh,
Figure what out? As if it's just supposed to
right?
happen. It'll be just this wonderful, magical journey the whole
Fairy
time.
comes down and be like,
Yeah.
and the sex
Yes.
knowledge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right. I love you guys. Y'all are so awesome. And I know our clients love you too, because we get positive feedback about y'all. But thanks so much for spending this time with me and educating our audience. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right, bye.
you.